Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things, and this week is episode 19 of Winter is Coming Wednesday using the ever-popular Season of Chic. Libby and I crafted together, and we started with an inspiration pin, but I quickly went completely off track. So I may or may not put the pin up because I did a completely different thing. So this particular project uses another new embossing folder called Quatrefoil, and it has a lot of details. I also used a unique material that I want to share as just a way of using up a supply. When you buy the 12 by 12 paper packs, the 12 by 12s generally have this white 12 by 12 shiny on one side, fairly thick cardstock, and in the middle of it, using a 4x4 size square, is the name of the DSP. In fact, let's see if I have one that has the label handy so I can show you what I end up doing with them for storage. So here is one. I take the 12 by 12. This is lovely in linen, and I cut two 4-inch wide strips on the side so they end up 4 by 12. And then what's left is a 4x4 on the top and the 4x4 on the bottom. And as you can imagine, as a demonstrator, I buy a lot of DSP. So I have a collection of these cardstock pieces that are shiny on one side, not shiny on the other. And I would say that they are 80 to 100 pounds. They're pretty thick. But because I cut them in 4 inches, even if I wanted to use them as a card base, I can't use them as a card base because a card base is 4 1/4. So these just collect up. I sometimes find unique uses for them. And in this case, I used, in the middle here is a piece of Quatrefoil that you'll see I added gilded flakes to. It also has, if you compared it to the look of this white, which I did not cut out in the middle and added it, this is, I believe this is a basic white piece, not thick, just the standard. But the inside piece is a little bit glossy in certain light because it is a leftover from all of those papers that I cut. It was one of the 4x4 pieces, and it worked perfectly. I went ahead and embossed it. I started with it because it was just sitting on my desk waiting to be put away. I just went ahead and grabbed it, ran the Quatrefoil because I just got this embossing folder, so it was new, and thought, what the heck, I'm going to go ahead and use it. And I added the gilding flakes to it. I have the die cuts, has this wonderful die cut right here. I've gone ahead with this die cut, and I even talked about it already in a way earlier video, Not a Winter is Coming Wednesday, where if you have an area of your die when it's pretty large and it isn't going through, you can go ahead and use some washi. This is an old Stampin' Up washi tape. It's retired, and I always get good cuts now by adding washi where in the area it's really hard to get it to cut. Just add, I think I have 1, 2, 3 pieces of washi to make the middle easier to cut, and it just means I get to pass it through, 1 or 2 times instead of like 3 to 5 times, and saves me time. So then I went ahead and I used thanks from this stamp set. I then have done a video, so here's the thanks that I used. Move it down so you can see it. This big thanks. And then I took my Fiskars Precision knife. I will have that on, it's on my Amazon store. I have found that by using the Fiskars Precision knife, I can do nice cutouts like you see here really quickly, and it does not hurt my hands. When this was all said and done, Hub suggested, even though the recipient of the card holds it in front of them and can kind of move it around to see the gold wording thanks, he requested white. So I have an Artisto set of acrylic markers that are on Amazon, and I have those on my Amazon store as well. And I just hand wrote the thanks. and I think it works just fine. I do have the metallic dots and the wonderful sheer, very vanilla with gold trim in a very loose knot. This loose knot tactic I learned at a Stampin' Up event that I attended. It was a virtual event, and one of the demonstrators talked about be sure to do some knots tight and some knots loose, because it ends up with a different look. And then these frames dies are a die set this year in the annual catalog. I really love it. I've used you've already seen this actually in this color on one of my other Christmas cards that I made earlier this year for A Winter is Coming Wednesday. And I did use some white craft on it, and I see it but barely. It's not very prominent at all. So I think that this came out very pretty, and it is only one depth thick, so it should fit through the mail. And then the other trick is all of my other raised up elements are inside. I did not raise up anything outside of this frame, so that it is only one dimensional layer thick, so it should pass through the thickness test. I could probably even take a piece of cardstock and put it over the top, and this card could probably mail. I would be comfortable mailing this I would say not non-machinable, but as a regular forever stamp, because I can hide all of the lumpy bumpy with a piece of thin cardstock over the top. I will probably just look for some extra cardstock, because the last thing you're looking for when you have, there's a lot of different pieces going on here, but I don't think the weight is over 1 ounce. So if I have enough extra weight, I can go ahead and use that extra piece of cardstock, maybe even one of the pieces, the 4-inch pieces that I said I have lots of extras from the DSP when I trim it down. So I can take a 4-inch piece, trim it down to about like 5.5, put it on top. It will feel smooth. It will not be too heavy. It won't be too thick. It won't be lumpy bumpy, and I'll get to mail it for 60 cents instead of the non-machinable, which is now 99 cents. So it's getting pretty expensive to mail a card. So that is all I've got for you today. Thank you for coming and joining me every Wednesday for my Winter is Coming Wednesday series. Leave any comments, questions, or concerns here on my video or over on my blog. And as always, thanks for watching.